I am Nikki Phoenix.
And I'm Jackal.
And we're Jackeled Phoenix.
I'm Chip B, Godfather of House music. Oh, so meeting JACKELD PHOENIX, man. Oh, I can remember where I was when I met JACKELD PHOENIX. I was at home and I was actually texting with a good friend of mine, and we were basically we're talking about stuff that's important to us, because like we both have a lot of the same passions. First of all, for being good citizens, and we appreciate our country, and we're talking about stuff that had nothing to do with that. We're going back to life experiences. He's like, I'm a photographer, and I'm like, I did photography, I do video, I do video, I did some music stuff. I'm like, I did some music stuff. He's like, I still do some music stuff, and I'm going like, oh, what kind of music stuff do you do? He's like, oh, well, I'm managing this band, it's this stuff, called EDM. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And I'm going like, well, actually, I have a little history in electronic dance music. So when he heard that, he told me more about this group, JACKELD PHOENIX, and I'm going like, well, let me hear this stuff. And that's when, I don't know, he convinced him. I don't know, did he have to like ring you around the neck? Oh! Or probably, he knows he stroked your hair. But somehow he was able to convince them, to let me hear some of their stuff. And I heard it and I was like, this is all right. I was like, it's better than all right. It's like, it's really good. And so myself and my partner, Liddell Townsend, we started working on some remixes of their stuff. And then, we said, hey, they're kind of edgy, let's send them some of our stuff. And so we sent the stuff to them, and then, boom! That's when you're supposed to say something.
No, it went exactly like that. Around that time I was really educating myself on founders of house music, some of the greats such as Frankie Knuckles, and when I heard the name Chip B, I was so excited, that we had that great opportunity to collaborate and go into some music together. I was just so thankful when we were on the phone together and he's like, yo, I like your stuff. And I was like, well, I like your stuff too. Let's do some stuff, and it really came natural. It wasn't forced. It's kind of like when you go into the studio, or if you go into a room with a girl, you guys can't just make a baby. There has to be chemistry there. So when we went into the studio, it was really natural. Nothing was forced.
Well, I remember I was on the road actually, coming back from Chicago, I'm pretty sure, and I got the call from our manager. And I have grown up with electronic music since I think I was like 14 was my first rave. And I love Infected Mushroom and Tiesto, DJ Tiesto actually was what I knew him as. And I even have heard some of your stuff. And I just was like, oh my gosh, really? Chippy wants to work with us? Really? Oh, that's pretty fucking sweet. So, it just kind of happened, and he sent over, his song Patience, and, Jackal and I started working on it. I'm really excited to, get that finished and lay my own flair of vocals, because I don't really have I don't have a Chicago style vocals. I got a little bit different, classically trained in opera, so, it's kind of like a little bit different.
It shows. Yeah, well, that's what I want, I want, as we work together, don't try to do, our stuff. I like what you guys bring to the table, and I want you to keep it there. And that's what, and the classical opera trade really shows, because she has an incredible range. If you haven't heard any of her stuff, incredible range. Just stop it.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
You could tell she's shy, right? Everybody's like, shy. This is what shy looks like now. It's the new shy. Okay. Yes. Hanging out is the new shy.
Oh my God.
So I've seen some footage of the JACKELD PHOENIX, some clips and footage of the JACKELD PHOENIX show, and they've got these aerials and these, it's like Cirque du Soleil on steroids.
Yes!
It's like what they want it to be, but plus there's the funky music going on. And it's like, man, and I see that stuff, and I was asked like, well, do you see yourself maybe being part of this? I'm like, no, my insurance doesn't cover that. See, I'm old. I can't do that stuff. No, I will be on the background. I will be maybe on keyboards or something, but no, you're not getting me on the tightrope. No.
No, I was going to say, but that's perfect because, Jackal and I are very into, we want live music. He actually plays the guitar very well. Almost all the guitar parts you hear in a lot of our songs is Jackal. and and I like to sing live. We will put a little bit of background vocals, but they're usually the vocals that we took from the studio, untouched, and kind of layer them in there quietly just to kind of fatten up my voice, just because the voice is kind of stale and you can't really add a lot of effects while you're singing live, so to have a little bit of fat vocals in the background, and then the circus is just electronic music is kind of crazy and it's artsy and fun and dancey, and the circus is fun and dancey, and it's art. And so us being on stage together, and you could play the keyboards or the drums or whatever you want,
Right.
live music is where it's going, and who says that you can't do live music with electronic music, because you certainly can.
As long as I'm, because I might look as young as this guy, but I'm really a little bit older. I got a couple years on it, so it's like I can't take the same types of risk that he can.
He doesn't get up in the air. No.
Well, he lives in the area. How tall are you? Like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's like,
This is true. You have a good point.
Yeah, he just lives up there. It's like it's like the air is different. It's like it's kind of thin up here.
I think that we can expect something fairly soon coming out. We want to work on something as fast as possible. We can't really rush it. You can't really rush music. So whenever the creative energy starts moving, we can move forward with a song. And I don't think that's going to be the only track. I think we've got lots of stuff ahead of us for the future.
Good things take time.
Yeah.
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Nikki Phoenix, as well as JACKELD PHOENIX, JACKELD PHOENIX.
What about yourself, Jack?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram and all of them at Official Jackal, and as well as JACKELD PHOENIX.
Yeah, and you can always look for Chip E on Facebook, Twitter, Xvideos. Mostly Facebook and Twitter.